so now that we're done with corrections, we want to get into the Emmys recap. So that was this past Sunday, September 20th, 2020. And it was a very different kind of Emmys, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel. It was devoid of an audience, which, funny enough, my parents didn't catch that at first because
Really?
how the show started was Jimmy telling jokes and then they'll pan to like audience laughing and all that stuff. But you can clearly tell that those are clips from previous Emmys. But my dad was like, they're all packed there. Why are they?
So you think some other people are probably gotten that confusion?
Yeah. So I told him, no, those are old clips. And my mom said, well, Trump is going to use that against them because he thinks that people are rammed in there. I said, well, if he does, then he's going to look mighty dumb because I think most people.
Is he though? Is he though? Because you won't be surprised if some of his followers actually believe it.
Right. But as the monologue was reaching its apex, one of the people that the camera panned to was Jimmy Kimmel in the audience, and then Jimmy was like, "Wait, how am I there and here?" And then it's like, "Oh, that's right, because there's no one here." And then he started with the pandemic and all that stuff.
But he was still at the Kodak Theater?
Staples Center.
Staples? He was still there?
Yeah, he was there. And a couple of people were there. Jason Bateman was there in the audience, blending in with the seats. So you know how in the baseball stadium they have like the cardboard cutouts.
Yeah.
So they had that of the actors, but then they panned, and then it's like actually the real Jason Bateman there, and then like he moves his eyes a little bit, and then Jimmy was like, "I saw you move. Like, what are you doing there?"
Oh, okay.
Like, I want to get out of my house. So anyway, that was pretty funny. So what they did is they had like a big Zoom meeting of all the nominees, basically calling in. And so whenever they do like a category, they'll have the Zoom like gallery view of each of the nominees. It was pretty cool. So so that happened, and then it started with the comedy. I'll give you a quick rundown of like the categories and who won. So comedy, best actor, best actress, all that stuff. Schitt's Creek, that's SCHITTS, swept every award. It won 7 on the night, and I think it won 2 in the Creative Arts Emmys for a total of 9. Right. And I think you mentioned that it's probably because it's in its last season. It's probably true. We'll dive into that. Let me just clear out the rest of them. So then they went into the drama category. No, drama was last. Sorry. They went into limited series, which I was particularly happy about because Watchmen won quite a few of the awards, and Mark Ruffalo won for This Much I Know Is True, which I think it's a masterful performance. I said it months ago when I first watched it that this guy is going to win, and sure enough, he did. And then they went with the drama category, which the show Succession won most of the awards over there. The morning show from Apple TV won supporting actor, and so that's the top level rundown of it. All right, so let's talk about what you were saying about Schitt's Creek winning because it was in its final season.
Well, I wouldn't say it only won because it was in this final season, right? I wouldn't say that because remember I said, and this is of course how me and Zino like to have a show prior to the show in pre-production, and then we realized, holy crap, we should be saying this in front of the camera because this is good shit. So, so I was saying
it's good. SCHITT.
Yes, good Schitt's Creek. So I mentioned how the Americans won their last season, and I kind of felt like it was a bit of a not a consolation, but it was more of along the lines of we need to give them the win because they deserved it these other years, but they just haven't gotten it. So Schitt's Creek probably is a little bit on there, like in regards to that.
I know it won. No, the Americans won Best Actor for Matthew Rhys.
I think he won 2 years in a row, or they won.
Matthew Rhys only won. That was his first Emmy, and I think Kerry Russell was deserving too.
Yeah, oh no, she actually was probably he was phenomenal, but I think she was just beyond
I think she was the
amazing
best performer on that entire show.
Martindale,
of course, she's always great.
Yeah, well, well, Margot did win for outstanding guest actress
like
twice, third and fourth season. It won the Golden Globe for best television series, but we're talking about Emmy. Outstanding lead actor, and it also won outstanding writing for a drama series. It's last year, which it's deserving of those, but I kind of feel like they were a little bit of they should have, because I honestly think the years that maybe Mad Men won, I honestly feel like the Americans should have won. I liked Mad Men, I really did, but I kind of felt like it was a little bit. I think it was more nostalgia that got him the wins.
Well,
because it was, it was from people the same time that some of the people who were voting for it probably were from. But anyways, welcome back. Welcome back to technical difficulties. It's all good though. We're gonna get this. So as I was saying, I think that the Americans should have won a lot of times when Mad Men, and honestly other shows. And honestly, I think sometimes the final seasons gets people a little bit. Would nostalgic be the right word, or kind of gives them an edge, maybe?
It gives them an edge. One thing I do want to add is you mentioned Mad Men, but it was also in the running with a lot of prestige shows like Homeland and
no, and I get that, and I definitely understand that it had Americans came out during a very steep competition era, I think one time a long time ago we talked about this on Facebook prior to us becoming podcast stars. You mentioned how it was it just came out during a golden age of television, which. The golden age of television has actually been going on for a long time, because remember, prior to that, it was The Sopranos, it was The Wire, so it can't. So I know that. So I feel like the final season gave the Americans a good edge on finally getting one. Same thing with Schitt's Creek being its final season, because honestly, there's no reason why Games of Thrones should have won for its final season.
That's true.
It did.
I agree. But so here's what I want to say two things. One being, if we're gonna give awards to shows because of their final season, and I haven't watched Schitt's Creek, for all I know, it could be the greatest thing since sliced bread. But if we're gonna give shows awards because of their final season, what happened to Parks and Rec? All right, Parks and Recreation got super snubbed. It's entire.
There's some shows that get so. Again, this is pre-production. I talked about even though you did mention that it didn't really get that much love as I thought it would have gotten. Just basically, what was the show that I said from
The Morning Show?
Apple, The Morning Show, which honestly the majority of people don't watch. Because a lot of people don't have Apple TV. I've asked around, and most people have told me they honestly, I asked around to the people who I know that love Hulu and Netflix and all that crap. None of them have told me that they like Apple TV. Now, I did have an option to get it for 3 months for free, and I really did think about getting it, but I just never did. But honestly, I just feel like sometimes some of these shows, I think, get it because there's probably a little bit of politics behind some of this stuff. Remember, we talked about when we were talking about the Oscars, how some of these actors have to campaign to be considered the best actor when really it should be the performance.
What do you think there's politics involved with The Morning Show? Apple TV in general.
Apple TV trying to get their name out there a little bit more. Because honestly, you gonna tell me that there aren't some other shows that probably should have gotten it over the Morning Show? Because I'm pretty sure there probably were some great shows out there.
I think one show that got snubbed for nominations across the board that should have been in there. I don't know about The Morning Show because I don't watch it. And to be honest, to be very fair, I watched most of the limited series, and I didn't watch a lot of the dramas that were nominated. But one show that I think should have been nominated, bar none, Better Call Saul. I think it had one of its strongest seasons, if not the strongest season so far.
And you got to ask, can you really? So if you're saying that it was the strongest season, can they really justify nominating it before but not nominating it this time?
Right, exactly. They've nominated Bob Odenkirk before. I don't think they've ever nominated Rhea Seehorn, but she deserves the nomination. They nominated Jonathan Banks before. Giancarlo Esposito did get nominated, but he didn't win. That's actually the category that the guy for The Morning Show won in. But generally, Better Call Saul got snubbed, and I thought it was a travesty because it's such a good show. But people are saying that they're possibly they're doing that because they know the final season's coming up. and they want to be able to give it,
Yeah.
those awards. So they're like, they can't justify giving it twice.
Yeah, because there's a lot of shows that so we jumped into this even though we were supposed to do our top 5, so we'll do our top 5 after this. But one of my shows in the top 5 never got mentioned in these kind of categories, which I think it should have, which is it's my number 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you a quick preview of my number 2, which was Titus. I don't know if you probably don't even know about the show Titus.
No.
Titus, if you ever look up Titus, you could see I think you could see the majority of their episodes on YouTube. It was one of the most it was ahead of its time. It was so Christopher Titus was the star of it. It was they handled controversial topics, and they weren't trying to be preachy. They were just tackling them because they were, involved rape, statutory rape, neglect. I think they talked about abortion. They talked about one episode was about a kid. His dad ended up being gay, and then throughout the show he was like, they started telling I'm a homo, and like they found a way to make it like funny in the end, right? Like, and it was tackling a very issues that they can't touch now. Honestly, like this show would not be able to happen now. But that show completely got snubbed. It didn't even get shown, so people don't even know about it. And I feel like that happens a lot of times. That there's some shows that honestly, there's probably some shows that don't stand the test of time that get nominated, but then there's shows that should have been nominated that never even got looked at. So I honestly do feel like there's a lot of political, but I will give Schitt's Creek a chance because I've been wanting to watch it anyways before I even got nominated. For the longest, like at least for like the last 3 years, I just never gotten around to it. So,
it always helps. I don't know if this qualifies as the politics of like nominations and all stuff, but it always helps if the cast includes people who've been in the business for a while but have largely been overlooked awards wise. Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy are 2 people who've been in the business for decades. I think Eugene Levy said he's been acting for over 50 years. So that definitely helps.
He's still going to be Jim's dad to me.
Jim's, American Pie. So same thing with when, oh my God, Fonzie, what's his name? Henry Winkler won for Barry. It's the same thing because, by the way, he was really good at Barry. But I'm sure part of the calculation was Henry has been such a fixture in our business for so long. It's time we finally honor him with this award. Yeah. So I think that definitely plays a part in people's thinking when they're voting.
Real quickly, do you think? Oh, okay, go ahead. Because I was going to ask you about your reaction to one of the wins.
What's the question?
So I was reading that some people were saying that Zendaya was like one of the surprise wins. Like they said that she beat some. So I can tell you real quickly who she won because I have it pulled up. So she beat Jennifer Aniston for The Morning Show. Again, I haven't seen the show. It's probably great. Maybe I'll watch it. Olivia Colman for The Crown. Judy Comer for The Killing Eve, which Killing Eve I want to watch because Sandra Oh also got nominated. Killing Eve just looks like one of those good shows. And Laura Linney for Ozark. And Zendaya came in and beat them all.
So here's the thing. Jodie Comer has already won for Killing Eve before. So has Sandra Oh. What's her name? Laura Linney has won. No, has she won? Yes,
she
is
the recipient of several awards, including 2 Golden Globe and 4 Primetime Emmy Awards. So I think she's won once or twice.
Well, no, so she might have won for The Big C, but I'm pretty sure she won for Ozark as well.
Wasn't Jennifer Aniston the first Friends star to win an Emmy for Friends?
I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny. Probably. So it was probably like, hey, let's give it to someone who hasn't won. Olivia Colman has won before, and she's an Oscar winner. I think I've been seeing Euphoria. The people who have watched it seem to like it, but they're also from a younger generation than I am.
Yeah.
But
so maybe they're trying to bring in the younger generation and liking these kind of shows.
Perhaps, yeah.
Because if you look at the category wins and the category nominations, a lot of them aren't in our age bracket. They're like
yeah.
dancing for God's sakes.
Right, but the category that I was Yeah, the big subset of categories that I was really interested in was limited series. Did you watch Watchmen on HBO?
No, I don't have HBO, and I really did want it, and it wasn't out when I got the free preview for HBO, so I ended up getting Cinemax. I watched American Gods, but I didn't get to watch The Watchmen.
So I do. There were a lot of great Emmy moments. I think one of the best was Damon Lindelof's speech when Watchmen won Best Limited Series. I have a 1 minute part of it that I want to play. The whole thing is about maybe 3 minutes, but I'm just going to play a minute of it. I think it's very important, just even outside of the context of just a speech. So I'm going to play that real quick. Get Chrome. Essentially,
give me a rundown, and then we'll show it. You'll put it in the description,
yes,
and then I'll definitely get a chance to listen.
Essentially, he was. If you've seen the show, you know that it's a superhero show, continuation of Watchmen, pretty true to the graphic novel, but it also talks about racism in a very subversive way.
Wall Street.
Yeah. Actually, it shone a light on what happened in Tulsa in 1920, when basically these white supremacists came through and like burnt down what was known as Black Wall Street at that time. It was like a bustling district of just Black owners of stores and movie theaters and all that stuff. These people came through, burnt the entire thing down, left it in ashes. And you don't learn about it in school or anything like that. So anyway, so Damon Lindelof is giving a speech and talking about that I knew this wasn't my story to tell, but these people put it in my hands, and here's what I've learned from them. And then he's going through a lot of like interesting stuff, but the main thing he said that really stuck with me that I wanted to play, but then you couldn't hear it, was that don't stop worrying so much about being canceled and figure out how you can get renewed, so like basically don't be afraid to make these mistakes. You might say the wrong thing now and then you might try to do the right thing and end up doing the wrong thing. Pick yourself back up, acknowledge your wrongdoing, reset kind of thing. I thought it was really powerful, and I'll put it in the description since I couldn't play it here due to technical difficulties. So that was one of the big interesting parts of the Emmys. And then they also made sure to highlight essential workers in multiple parts of the show. They would have actual essential workers reading the nominations and all that stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
So yeah. Did you have? Oh yeah, we're talking about limited series. You said you haven't watched Watchmen. Well, the other thing I want to talk about was also HBO, which you haven't seen. All right. Did you have any?
What, the limited series?
Yeah, it's called This Much I Know Is True.
Oh, but that wasn't nominated.
It was, unless
Nope. I'd say, was it a limited series or was it a drama series?
Limited series. Tell me the names. I might be getting the.
Watchmen, Little Fires Everywhere, Mrs. America, Unbelievable, Unorthodox.
Oh, okay. No. Go to Best Actor.
Best Actor, Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series or in a Drama Series?
No, limited series.
Oh, my bad. Oh, wow. They get their own category? Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Irons.
What's the name of Mark Ruffalo's show?
Oh, Dominic and Thomas Birdsey. Oh, I Know This Much Is True. Okay.
I Know This Much Is True. Yeah, I got the name wrong. It's not This Much I Know. It's I Know This Much Is True. Yeah. That's a really good show. Oh, good limited series.
And I think you're right about this sometimes, because I never heard, honestly, I've never heard of I Know This Much Is True.
That's why I love watching the Emmys, because the only reason I even saw it, because I just happened upon the trailer for it, and Mark Ruffalo is always good in anything he does. But generally, I like watching the Emmys because it lets me find out about shows that I would have ignored otherwise.
I'm not gonna lie. You know what what I do sometimes is I'll go through like the Emmy nominations for outstanding drama or maybe in a comedy, like go back to like 2001 and look at what's there, and then if there's something that I could be like, oh, it just refreshes my mind. Like that's how I'm gonna start watching. So I want to watch West Wing. Just
Okay.
haven't had a chance because I also feel like I also wonder if some of these shows are outdated to the point where I will notice that they're outdated.
Yeah,
That's what
there's
somebody
some
told me about
shows.
Dexter. Like
Oh, I
Dexter,
like
someone
Dexter.
told me that with Dexter, you could tell that it's from the early
It's dated.
2000s. And you can kind of tell. Kind of like I saw Nurse Jackie way back when, which that's a conversation that we could probably have later about how certain classes of people get
Away with certain things.
something
Well, I mean,
becomes a
look at the
comedy when
show Beats.
like
Hmm.
those are comedies, but snowfall is is a snowfall. Yeah, snowfall is a drama.
Hmm.
So it's just that's a conversation that we could probably have later on. But
One thing about dated shows, and I was like, you're completely right. There's some shows that you watch them today and they're like, this doesn't resonate with me.
yeah,
There's a lot of context in this show that doesn't resonate, but I think Cheers, no matter the era, I think it stands the test of time.
really, I've been
Yeah.
wanting to actually. I wanted to watch Cheers to lead into because I hate to do incompleteness.
No,
So if I watch
Frasier.
Cheers, I'd have to go into Frasier. And I
Yeah.
thought about it, I was like, man, that is like 23 seasons worth of commitment or something. Or
Yeah,
maybe even more.
Frasier is like smart comedy, but I never really like, oh, I gotta watch Frasier all the time.
Yep.
I used to watch Cheers on Nick at Night, and it's such a good show. Like very
Well, I mean,
tight writing.
I still love Happy Days. I still watch Happy Days.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
and Ted Danson, he's got really good comedic timing. Still does. So
Did you watch Becker?
here and there, but
I actually loved Becker.
yeah,
Like
it was good.
like one of my friends made fun of me. He says, you again. Remember last week I said how I'm really like a 50-year-old man named Earl. Since then I've been a 50-year-old man. But anyways,
let's do the top 5 TV
right.
series. I might end up like moving these around and then putting it after the intro. We'll see. You guys have seen
actually, I'm
how
okay with that
production
because I was gonna.
happened.
Even though I talk about Titus, you could put a note at the bottom that just
Yeah,
says.
you guys have seen how production happened in real time.